You're suspended until you apologize to your sister," my father declared, his face red with anger. My sister, Jessica, stood behind him with that smug smile I'd come to know so well. I simply looked at them both, my expression unreadable. "All right," I said calmly, turning to leave my own office. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. Because they had no idea what all right really meant. The next morning, my sister would learn that some apologies come with a price tag no one can afford. I had built Carter Innovations from my college dorm room into a multi-million-dollar tech company. My father, who'd invested early, sat on the board. My sister Jessica, she'd been given a VP title despite contributing nothing beyond long lunches and expensive business trips. The confrontation happened because I'd canceled her latest pet project, a ridiculous AI-powered yoga app that had already burned through $500,000 with zero results. "This is harassment," Jessica had screamed in my office. "You've been against me from the start." Our father had stormed in, taking her side as usual. "Apologize to your sister and reinstate her project, Alex, or you're suspended indefinitely." The threat was empty, he thought. He believed I'd cave as I always had, preserving the fragile family peace. But this time was different. This time, I had been preparing for this moment for months. "All right," I'd said, my voice dangerously calm. I didn't pack anything from my office. I simply walked out, pulling out my personal phone to make 2 calls. The first was to my Coup, Sarah. "Phase 1 is go," I said quietly. The second was to our largest client. "Remember that proposal I mentioned? Let's move forward." At home, I poured myself a whiskey and watched the emails start flooding in. Resignations from key team members who'd been waiting for my signal. Contract terminations from clients who worked with us specifically because of me. Partnership withdrawals from investors who followed my lead, not the company name. My father called 3 times that evening. I let it go to voicemail. He texted, "This is childish, Alex. Just apologize and we can move forward." I didn't respond. They thought this was a tantrum. They had no idea it was a calculated demolition. The next morning, I arrived at the office at exactly 8 a.m., not as the CEO they'd suspended, but as the majority shareholder who held all the cards. The receptionist looked startled as I walked through the glass doors. "Mr. Carter, I thought you were suspended?" I finished with a thin smile. "So did everyone else?" I went straight to the boardroom where the emergency meeting was already in chaos. Through the glass walls, I could see my father pacing and Jessica crying. The other board members looked grim. I pushed the doors open. All conversation stopped. "Alex," my father said, relief washing over his face. "Thank God. Come to apologize?" "Not quite," I said, taking my seat at the head of the table. "I'm here to discuss the company's future, or lack thereof." I placed my tablet on the table. As of 9 p.m. last night, 17 of our 22 senior developers have resigned. Genesis Tech, our largest client accounting for 40% of revenue, has terminated their contract, and our 3 main investors have pulled their funding. Jessica's tears dried instantly, replaced by horror. "What did you do?" "What you forced me to do," I said calmly. "You see, while you were playing businesswoman, I was building relationships. Personal ones. Our clients work with me, not Carter Innovations. Our team follows me, not the company." My father sank into a chair. "You orchestrated this?" "I protected my interests," I corrected. "When you threatened to suspend me, you threatened the entire company." "I simply called your bluff." The board members began speaking all at once. "We're looking at complete collapse. The stock will plummet when markets open. Alex, you have to fix this." I waited for the panic to subside. "I can fix it," I said. "But under new terms." I slid copies of my proposal across the table. "I'll be forming a new company, Carter Solutions. I've already secured funding and office space. The team is ready to move with me. The clients will follow." Jessica stared at the document. "You can't do this. That's our intellectual property. Our clients." "Actually," I said, "the non-compete only applies if I'm terminated, not suspended. And all the IP I developed is personally owned. As for the clients, they're free to choose who they work with." My father finally found his voice. "What do you want, Alex?" 3 things, I said, counting them off on my fingers. 1. Jessica resigns immediately. 2. You step down as board chairman. 3. I receive 51% controlling interest in what remains of Carter Innovations. The room erupted in protests. But I simply stood and gathered my things. "You have 1 hour to decide," I said. "The new company launches at 10 a.m. with or without you." As I walked out, I could feel Jessica's hateful stare burning into my back. But for the first time in years, I didn't care. At 9:45 a.m., my father found me in my office, which I'd reclaimed without permission. He looked aged, the confident businessman replaced by a defeated father. "Your sister is devastated," he said quietly. "I'm sure she is," I replied without looking up from my laptop. Losing a six-figure job for doing no work must be traumatic. Was this really necessary? He asked, his voice breaking. Destroying everything I built? You built a small IT firm that was going bankrupt when I took over, I reminded him gently. I built the multi-million-dollar company you tried to suspend me from. And you're the one who chose to destroy it by siding with Jessica again. He flinched. She's your sister. Family should stick together. Family shouldn't enable incompetence and punish success. I countered. How many times have I covered for her? How many failed projects have I buried? How many apologies have I made for things that weren't my fault? The years of resentment hung between us. Finally spoken aloud, she needs help. Alex, not destruction, and I needed a father who saw me as more than Jessica's keeper. I said, meeting his eyes for the first time. But we don't always get what we need, do we? The intercom buzzed. Mr. Carter? The board is ready for your decision. In the boardroom, the atmosphere was funereal. Jessica sat red-eyed in the corner, refusing to look at me. The lead independent director spoke first. Alex, we'll accept your terms with one condition. You save the company completely, no slow bleed. No gradual transition. You make us whole. I nodded. I can do that. But my terms are non-negotiable. I looked at Jessica. Well, I believe I'm waiting for that apology you were so desperate for yesterday. She looked up. Hatred in her eyes. Go to hell, Jessica. Our father snapped. Apologize. Now, the role reversal was almost poetic. Now he was demanding she apologize to me. Through gritted teeth, she muttered, I'm sorry. I didn't catch that, I said calmly. I'm sorry. She nearly shouted, tears of humiliation streaming down her face. Thank you, I said. Your resignation is on the table. Sign it, clean out your desk, and be out of the building in 30 minutes. She looked at our father, expecting him to intervene. He simply looked away. The final betrayal for her dot as she scrawled her signature with shaking hands. I addressed the board. I'll make the calls now. The resignations will be withdrawn, the contracts reinstated. Business as usual by end of day. I picked up the conference phone and dialed. Sarah, it's Alex, stand down. The coup is over. I could almost feel the collective sigh of relief in the room. But as I made call after call, rebuilding what I'd dismantled, I knew nothing would ever be the same. The balance of power had permanently shifted. Jessica was gone within the hour. She didn't say goodbye to anyone. My father resigned as chairman but remained on the board with significantly reduced influence. I became CEO and chairman of Carter Innovations with the controlling stake I'd demanded. Asterisk, the company recovered faster than anyone expected. Within a week, it was as if the crisis had never happened. Except everything had changed. Asterisk, my father and I didn't speak for a month. Then he showed up at my apartment one evening holding a bottle of expensive scotch. Asterisk, I've been doing a lot of thinking, he said, pouring us both a drink. I failed you. As a father and as a businessman, asterisk, I didn't argue. He had, asterisk, I always saw Jessica as fragile, he continued. After your mother died, she struggled so much. I thought I was protecting her. Instead, I was crippling her. And I was taking you for granted. Asterisk, it was the first time he'd acknowledged the truth. Asterisk, Jessica checked into a rehab program, he said quietly. Not for substances, for entitlement. It's a real thing, apparently. She's learning to stand on her own feet. Asterisk, I felt a pang of something, not pity, but perhaps understanding. We'd all been trapped in our roles since Mom's death. Jessica the fragile one, me the strong one. Dad the protector. Asterisk, I don't want control of the company, I told him. I never did. I just wanted to be treated fairly. Asterisk, he nodded. I know that now. Asterisk, 6 months later, Carter Innovations is more successful than ever. Jessica completed her program and got a job at another tech company, an entry-level position, where she's actually learning the business. We have dinner once a month, and for the first time, we talk like actual siblings instead of rivals. Asterisk, my father and I have rebuilt our relationship on more honest terms. He offers advice now instead of giving orders, and I've learned to listen without resentment. Asterisk, the funny thing about that, all right, that started it all? It wasn't about winning. It was about setting a boundary I should have set years ago. It was about refusing to participate in a system that rewarded incompetence and punished excellence. Asterisk, I learned that sometimes the most powerful word isn't no, it's all right, because all right accepts the battle while preparing to win the war. It's the calm before the storm that changes everything. Asterisk, today, when employees come to me afraid to set boundaries or demand what they're worth, I tell them my story. I tell them that sometimes you have to be willing to walk away from everything to get what you truly deserve. Asterisk, and every time I make a difficult decision, I remember that single word that changed my life and my family forever. All right.